All right, welcome to the Warrior Healing Center. This is February 12th, 2 days before Valentine's Day.
Correct.
I'm Kathy, this is Mike, and we're here just to chat about, the great Hallmark holiday of Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I think that's a good topic.
Yeah?
We had a trial run a couple times.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of
Some technical difficulties.
technical glitches with the mic, so thank you for staying with us.
Cool.
Does that mean we're on?
That's you guys, sound check.
You're messing me up.
Cool.
Are we not live at the moment?
No, you're live.
We're live.
Okay, all right, we're good to go.
So you were a part of our live test to make sure that we're live.
Okay, you're off camera though.
I am off camera. I'm not getting that close.
Why is it...
Here, just
There we go.
We've got
come over, just
Tim in the seat behind the camera today helping us
I'm
out.
in
So,
the pit.
Yep.
Tim's in the pit.
We're working it out.
All right, so Valentine's Day.
February 14th, yeah. It's cool.
Tim, give us a signal. Are we on?
Oh yeah,
We're on.
we already
All
got
right.
the okay.
I just
So
wanted to make
we
sure.
got the
All right.
double
Let me
okay.
do this. We're off.
Healing Center. This is Mike and Kathy, February 12th.
Correct.
And Mike is
2020.
cracking up. We've had a little bit of glitching going on this afternoon, but
Yes, this is like take 10.
take
But
10. Take 10.
But we are live, so we finally got it going. Thank you, Tim. So today we're talking about your Hallmark Valentine's Day.
Hallmark holiday.
Hallmark holiday. There you go.
I will, yeah. That. In all fairness, that is how I have always viewed the holiday.
Yeah, that
I think
makes
it's
sense.
got some pros and some cons for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I like. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuffed animals, a lot of chocolates, a lot of flowers, a lot of cards.
It's
And
good
pretty
business
much-
for the restaurants.
Absolutely.
Trying to eat out is
Yep. But it's
kind of
one
nightmarish at times.
day.
But it's one day a year, yeah.
It's one day. If you can't show that you love your significant other every day of the year, don't bother. Just leave it alone.
It does seem to add some pressure for folks, I will tell you. Some folks
does.
more than others.
Yeah.
I feel, thankfully, like it's always been kind of chill. The folks that I've ever been romantically involved with, it's kind of been a shared feeling about it. I've never been one to dress in black and go that far to the extreme, but
Yeah.
but I'm interested in hearing a little bit about the military thoughts on it. You know, do people
Well,
find Valentine's Day to be stressful, to be fun, you get extra cookies or baked goods sent to you if you're overseas? And how does that work?
you get a lot of cards from mom, little gifts and stuff like that. But one of I don't know, if somebody's going to shoot me in the back with an arrow and I'm in the military, I got a gun. I'm going to, but I don't know. Cupid's not a very kind guy, but, yeah, it was okay. I mean, nothing really changed in the military. You get a card from mom and everybody makes fun of you because, the card from your girlfriend is trumped by mom's card all the time.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
I mean, it is kind of funny because nobody can live, there's a lot of people there, a lot of guys can't live without hearing from their moms. I was one of the guys that I'll just stay home. She knitted me a blanket. Okay, I got ridden forever on this thing because I'm a Marine, and she knitted a blanket that was blue and gold, Navy. And I was like, wow, she mailed this thing to me on ship. And I was like, I couldn't even get rid of the damn thing.
Uh-oh.
So I got this Navy
Because you're on
blanket.
ship and you can't dispose of things.
Well, I could have dumped it overboard, but then what
Then
am
you're
I
in
going
trouble with Mom.
Exactly. So he's like, so she do got a point. Mom sent it. It's from my mother. What do I do now? It's a Navy blanket. I
So-
just put it in the Foot Locker and left it.
That is making me think of whoopee. Is that the right term for military? Does that not Marines or Navy? Maybe it's just like certain
Yeah.
branches. It was like the piece of equipment that the military can't live without, and they all have different uses for it. But a lot of times it's like a blanket, or it's an inner liner of a poncho or something.
Yeah. No,
So
I never.
you don't know that?
Never knew that.
All right. See, I'm learning things as I go, but maybe
But
I'm.
a whoopee for me is the cushion that people sit on. You know them.
Oh, whoopee cushion.
You know, the little fart things you sit on. Those are,
No,
it
no.
make noise. But,
All right, never mind. I'll have to do some research so I can talk like I actually know what I'm talking about. But
I mean, little cuddly toy things.
okay,
Yeah, I
all
don't
right.
know.
Maybe it's just an army thing. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, we got Army. Come on. Yeah, we're talking about Marines here. No, I'm just
All
kidding.
right.
But no, I mean, people feel differently. You know, some people overseas, some people take it real. It's serious. You know, if they don't hear from their mommy, you know, they're like blown away. I wasn't one of those. You know, my mom didn't write to me. I was like, okay, you know, I'm good. But my girlfriend wrote, you know, and you kind of, like I said, when I was in, they didn't have internet. They didn't have cell phones. They didn't have any of that stuff.
True.
So-
Times have definitely changed
Yeah.
significantly with the technology.
Exactly. I was overseas. I hear phones. So it's probably mine over there again. So I apologize. My phone is buzzing again. But overseas, when I was in, we had to go to these little places where you kind of talk, and everything is so delayed. You know, or if you were talking on ship, it was like, you know, you say what you're going to say in over, and then they would talk. And so that was my technology back then. Nowadays, you know, of course, we have the internet and
Skype.
It's easy. And
People
Skype.
FaceTime while they're
Yeah.
overseas serving. It's pretty amazing.
I think that'd be even more embarrassing because now your mommy's in your face telling you how cuddly lovey you are. You know, she misses you.
Yeah, I think those are the conversations you have
Yeah,
in
exactly.
private. You can have those, right?
You
like you
hide
can
them,
hide.
but-
Okay, yeah.
But if you're on a ship and you're overseas or you're with your buddies, you're not really hiding all that well. So you don't really have a whole lot of places to hide. So that's kind of interesting. I'm glad I wasn't in this time.
Yeah, I don't. Actually, it's really kind of an interesting topic for conversation. Is how, with the technology today, does that make it tougher on our service members? Does it make it easier? I mean, on the one hand, you get to maybe have a little more connection back with reality, but at the same time,
You have no privacy.
no
Yeah,
privacy.
no
But you're
privacy.
also, I mean, there's also got to be added challenges to that, right? Like talking to your loved ones. Like, okay, say it's your significant other who's back home in the States, and maybe
Right.
there's stresses at home that maybe now you're hearing about
Yeah, well,
firsthand immediately.
It works both ways. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that really deters. You know, I had it good when I was overseas. I mean, I wasn't in any conflicts. I mean, we were there. We did go over to the Indian Ocean during the Marine hostage, but we never touched soil. But the last thing I wanted to hear then was any problems back here. I didn't even want to hear my family back here because, you know, they kind of gear you up for you're going to be going into war.
Sure.
So the last thing you want to have before you debark a ship to hit land is some cushy call or picture or memory from, you know, mom or significant other back here.
Yeah.
You don't want your mind here when you're going out there to defend the country, you know. And those that actually served, I'm sure they would agree with that. You know, once they're there and, you know, they've got everything set up and they're kind of, you know, hanging out in their bunks and stuff, I guess that's an okay time. But, you know, inopportune times for this stuff, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know.
But it would, yeah, I think too, you know, the folks who are staying stateside, the significant others, it's got to be interesting and challenging as well to be seeing folks on FaceTime. I mean, it's nice on the one hand, you can connect and have those conversations, which you can have
Right.
before. I mean, like our grandparents who served in World War II, for example,
Yep.
it was all like you write a letter and you send it and who knows when you get it.
And the cool part about that is, you know, if you look back now and you see all this historic stuff in books, it's those letters that they wrote.
Right.
How do you put a copy of an Instagram message into history now?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, poetry.com, just for a quick example, I wrote poems and they were stuck up in there.
Yeah.
And they're there forever, but they sold out and they purged 14 million poems. Purged them. They're gone forever. You can't find them on the internet.
Interesting.
So, and that is going to continue to happen throughout life. So, written things have a longer lifespan,
Oh, sure.
you know, because they get replicated in multiple books and so on. But one copy on the internet, people say it's there for a lifetime. It's not. It's an electronic image of something that will eventually disappear. So I like the older version, because then when, it's really cool when you pick up a letter and know that your great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, grandfather who served in the service wrote a love letter to his wife or husband back home.
Yeah.
I think that has more value to it. And that's about the only time Valentine's Day would have value for me. Something that happened 100 years ago that I can read about and say, that was really cool. Today,
it's very different. Well, yeah. I mean, again, it's that whole complex I have. It's like a Hallmark holiday. I think I was trying to tell you earlier. I spent a semester of college in Mexico. It was my last semester, and it cracked me up. I was there for Valentine's Day, and it just felt like the whole campus on that day turned into like a preteen excitement of, like everybody was walking around carrying balloons and teddy bears and stuff. And I don't know, maybe that happens in some places here too, but it was college. Yeah. And I was like, what happened? Like, what is this? And for me, I've always just been somebody that, it's not about what you say. So
right, it's about what you do. Like you mentioned before, the book, The 5 Love Languages.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has a different language. Mine is, my wife told me what mine was. I think I'm a visual. I need to see things. Hers is, she got to hear it and write it down.
So there's some people that need to be told, like,
right.
I'm totally going to screw this up. I should have looked this up, but some people that need to be told that they're doing well or get feedback or verbal
praise.
Yeah, sure. For me, I'm somebody that, actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
If you are going to tell me you love me, I want to know because of the thousands of things you do every day. It's the little actions that tell me. They speak volumes to me. Trust me.
Right.
And if my relationship is in trouble because, if I'm going to get angry at who my significant other is, it's going to be because he might be talking the talk, but he's not walking the walk, And
I agree. It does, and it's a two-way street because, affection is reciprocatory, you don't continuously be nice to somebody who's continuously not nice to you, and so on, back and forth. And I think the holiday is more of just a day to remind us.
It's for the folks that speak the language of gifts,
right.
I think, because
exactly.
they're one of the 5 is that you enjoy getting gifts and that's how you feel love. If your significant other thinks of you and puts thought into what they're going to give you and as a gift and all of that, then you really feel
then
love
it's a good holiday.
Yeah.
Then I agree that would be a good holiday then for them.
Yes, and that's probably why I have the feel I have towards it. Is I'm like,
yeah. But have you noticed? I'll say, as I've gotten older, I'll use the I statement here. As I've gotten older, the holidays mean less and less, and they're more and more advertising hype. And long before the holiday, it just kind of just lost itself in the mix. I mean, everything is like Halloween, and then boom, Christmas. And Christmas is happening long before Halloween ever got here.
Oh my gosh.
And then Christmas, and it doesn't even have the right feel anymore. When I was a kid, Christmas was like, wow, this awesome holiday. And now it's just like, man, this is just a nightmare. I can't wait to get over it.
And how much of that, though, is just you personally and, your perspective changes as you get older versus how much of that is really things have changed? Because I think they have. I mean,
everything.
One job that I had when I was in college, the only time I ever worked retail was a summer that I worked at the local shopping mall while I was in college. It was one of the several jobs that I had that summer. And I was so disgusted with Christmas. I was like, I will never work retail again because they started putting stuff out that was Christmas decoration, Christmas oriented in June.
Yeah,
and
it's
every
crazy.
week there was a little bit more. And okay, granted, it was, I don't want to call the store out. I don't think I should probably do that, but it was one of those stores where you like decorate your home with the stuff that they sell in it. But it was starting in June, and then it was like the Christmas music started before I was ready for it. And it's just, by the time Christmas came around, I was like, I don't even care. Get me out of here.
Exactly. We did 100% of our Christmas shopping on Amazon this year.
How'd that work for you? Did you like it?
Oh, we
Yeah.
were done the first week of Christmas.
Nice.
Or the first week of December. Everything was done. And then everything was shipped the second week. And it was great.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about those people in the store. Yeah, Black Friday, horrible, horrible day. Everybody go run there. The comical part is, I tell my wife, because she celebrates the All Saints Day, which is in January, like the
Right.
7th.
Right.
It's
Well,
their
that's-
Christmas.
That's when you take your. Oh, really? I always thought that was when you took your Christmas tree down.
Oh, I try to take it down as soon as the presents are out from underneath it. Just get this stuff over with, Your whole house is disrupted. You've got this tree where your television used to be, It's like, because my wife got to have the tree in a specific spot, and then you got to worry about the animals climbing on it, eating the balls off it, ripping through the presents.
So you're just anti-holiday.
Not really. Not really. I love the holidays, but if I'm going to put a tree up, my wife's routine is Thanksgiving is done, tree goes up. But presents don't go under the tree until Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So why I got that tree sitting there for a month?
Because it's
Wasting space in my living room.
pretty and full of making you feel good cheer
No, it's not good
and
cheers.
goodwill to man.
It's like, boys, stop shooting the Nerf guns at the Christmas balls. Dogs, stop playing under the wires. It's just another thing that you got to worry about. Which brings me back to Valentine's Day. It's just another thing that I get to screw up. I didn't do it right. I didn't get the right thing. So no, I think it's just, it just needs to silently go by the wayside.
Well, there's like Sweetest Day too. When is that? Like October or something? August, October? I think it's October.
I don't know.
I feel like there's just all of these.
There's too many.
Yeah.
There's too many holidays. Now if you burp wrong, it becomes a holiday. They lower the flag for
Everything's
all kinds
got
of,
a national day. Every day
Yeah.
of the year is
It is.
identified
It
as-
has gotten pretty corny over the years. I've seen that. The flag lowering has gotten corny over the years too. They
the
lower
flag
the-
lowering.
Yeah, they'll lower. Used to be the flag was lowered half mast for a real tragedy. Somebody like a senator dying, stuff like that, and that's all good. But then now there are people that aren't really that important. They're lowering the flags for them. School shootings, mass shootings, all that stuff. I guess lowering the flags is. I agree with that, but there's been other incidents where they lowered a flag for what did they lower the flag for? They lowered flags for a big fire. Something happened and just weird stuff.
The
They're lowering
tragic type stuff.
tragic
right?
stuff, and the flag, it just kind of became something happened, just lower the flag down. That's kind of what it's Valentine's Day. Something happened, be nice, say you love somebody, and the next day, stick with it or get back to what your life really is. If you're doing it right, Valentine's Day should be just a day that happens all year long. Mm-hmm. You should be buying, we should be doing kind things all the time.
I think it's the
Unexpected
romance, though, right?
stuff.
It's romantic,
Yeah.
so it maybe is a trigger for some people to celebrate.
Sure.
All right, I'm turning a little Hallmarky here, but to celebrate the love that you have or that you share, it can be an opportunity. But I agree with you. I think that it totally depends, and it totally can set people up if you've got the expectations, or if one of you has the expectations.
That something is really going to be great this day, and the other one just kind of like, what's for dinner? And you just like caused a war right there because they're expecting something else, and you're like kind of, last year you didn't want anything, so I just kind of went along with that, and now all of a sudden you got this warm fuzzy for Valentine's Day, and now you want something.
And that's for
You
the
gotta-
people that are
Gift
in
oriented.
relationships too.
Yeah.
But in relationships, like, let's not even forget that you've got a lot of singles out there that maybe really hate trying to go out to eat on that day of the year.
Right.
Or I wonder
That's
too,
too
I
funny.
don't know, in the military, well, I mean, I'm guessing probably Valentine's Day isn't that big of a hoorah holiday in the military, right? But
You got, no, I mean, because you don't know.
other than getting packages from your mom.
Yeah, get a blue and gold blanket knitted from my mother for the Marines. Yeah, that was really cool. No, back when I was in Valentine's Day, we just went out in town and just drank, ate pizza, and had fun.
Well, there you go. And
That was kind of it. And if you're really, really cushy about Valentine's Day, drink a Budweiser. It has red all over the can. So, But no, I think if you're consistent in your relationship, you do all these kind things throughout the year for each other because you know each other. You know, if you wait for one day of the year to do it, you got a problem. So don't worry about Friday. If you do it all year long, then Friday is just a little bonus for you, you know. Do something a little extra special because you've been doing it all year long.
So what do you do all year to let your spouse know how you feel about her, and or vice versa, right? Sometimes.
Me? Yeah. Oh, wow. What do I do?
I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry,
yeah, you
Mike.
Are? No, let's see. What do I do? I cook a lot, but a lot of it's because I cook because I don't eat anybody else's food. My wife's an okay cook. There's a couple dishes that she cooks really, really well. And I say this to her in person, so I'll say it to the world too. Some dishes she cooks really great. Other dishes, I'll do it, thank you. But I like to cook, so I do most of the cooking. But yeah, I like to do, the thing for me that shows that I care is those things she don't expect. Whether it's I order something for her or I'll write a poem. You know, Marines can write poems. You know, stuff like that. You know, it's just the out of the ordinary thing. And then the everyday normal stuff is we always spend time together. You know, we have a little routine, you know, watch TV. We try to eat dinner together as a family. And you know, because your kids are, you know, even though you're married or if you have children, they got to be a part of this. You know, they got to be a part of the ongoing, I guess, love and affection because they have to learn.
They're part of it. Yeah,
exactly.
That's how you teach them.
So how do you have, I mean, and that brings up another good point. How do you have a Valentine's Day and then, you know, you do all this great stuff for your significant other and then your kids are there like, what'd you get me, Dad? You're a boy. What do you want me to get you? You know, so we go to the store, we buy those little dollar hearts of chocolates. And
well, there you go. That makes the kids happy. Come on.
But yeah, I mean,
they get to exchange Valentines at school and stuff.
They do. They didn't do it this year, by the way. Not in my kids' school.
Because they had the day off.
That's true. Yeah, but they didn't do it at all. So there was no candy.
Well, wait a minute. But it hasn't. You mean last year they didn't, or
no? This year there's no. Yeah.
Because they will have the day off.
Right.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's why they decided not to. But yeah. But they've had dances.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah. No, they didn't do because all my kids every other school year we would go to the store and buy like, you know, cupcakes or there's sugar. Let's just say we just buy sugar and just bring it in there and they spoon it to the kids during class, you know. But but this year they didn't do it.
No, we were talking earlier when the mics weren't working, so sorry for the disconnect here. But what we learned, or what we discovered when we were talking, is that here in Arizona anyways, there's a lot of school districts that don't have school on Friday, Valentine's Day.
Right.
And then also Monday is a holiday,
Because of
President's Day.
Day.
So maybe it's just tied to the fact that, you know, the way that the dates fell this year. But
Right.
I found that really disturbing, sort of. 'Cause
Well, who gets the day off for Valentine's
that's
Day?
exactly it.
You know.
That's exactly it. But now that you said that, I wonder if maybe, you know, like everybody's all, oh no, there can't, I have to be careful how I say this, right?
Yeah.
Like the bullying thing, and, you know, such a big topic of discussion everywhere you go. There
Right.
can't be any bullying in school. Well, to me, I know this is totally off topic now. I'm just going to go there.
That's fine.
I feel like, of course, bullying is something that happens and is not a good happy thing to have happen, but it's also a life lesson. Like, I'm sorry, but once your kids get out of school, bullying happens in the adult world. It happens in humanity. It's not something that we praise or we want to encourage by any means. But at the same time, to me, I've never understood that. Trying to eliminate bullying is like, okay, great. You're just setting your kids up for failure later in life. Like, it sucks and it's hard and I hate it and I'm sorry. But at the same time, it's an important life lesson, and that's how you grow and how you learn, you know?
True.
So
True.
I will say that. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that afterwards. Just if bullying is, or if the concern is about kids feeling left out from Valentine's Day, I really hope that's not the direction or the reason.
Case.
Okay.
Yeah, because seriously, you know, kids in my, you know, in pre-high school, anything, they shouldn't be dating. They shouldn't be having these little love interests. I mean, it's okay to have a little crush. You know, remember, I don't know, when I grew up, a little crush lasted a couple days, you know, and then we're out in the field playing ball or something, and now she's just a friend and she's playing softball with us. Nowadays, these kids are like having massive meltdowns because they talk to a girl one day or they talk to a guy one day, and he's like, not interested. She's like, not interested. And they're just melting down. You know, having these huge outbursts and all these other problems arising from it because people, they don't teach this stuff anymore. You know, when I went to school, they had all this, they taught all this stuff, and classes were real. You know, today, classes ain't real.
Wait, no, help. Okay, clarify a little bit. What aren't they teaching? They're not teaching how to...
They're not teaching... Well, the sex ed portion, they're not really teaching. My one son is in 7th grade, and he has still yet to have a class on sex ed. Ever. He has no idea about any aspect of it. We're going to have to talk to him about the birds and the bees so he understands stuff. He's finding out on the internet because the schools are not teaching this stuff.
Interesting, okay.
You know, my other son is finding out more on the internet because the school's not teaching him, and he's going to high school next year. You know, so they don't teach the stuff, and these kids don't know what to do with these emotions. They don't, you know, we used to have health classes when I was in school.
Sure.
You know, we used to have all of that stuff. They used to go through all the different, you know, diseases and stuff, everything, relationship stuff. They don't do that anymore.
So do you think that's... There's all kinds of questions that are kind of popping out of my head right now. Like, do we think that it belongs in the school to teach those things versus parents teaching? Do we think it's...
Well, here's the thing. So, educational stuff, I think, should be taught in school. So, I mean, I'm educated enough to talk to my kids about STDs.
Sure.
But how many other people out there... Well, here's an example. How about a 16-year-old that just gave birth? Okay, now she's 18, 19 years old, and she's got a 3, 4-year-old, whatever. Do you think they're qualified to talk to their kids about STDs and all that? They really aren't, you know. So
well,
I think I think a nurse, because when we had it, a nurse came in the class and talked about all the medical stuff. So I'm on the fence with it. I mean, it is a family's responsibility, but then the government took that out of the house. Because, you know, you just went to a daisy chain of weird stuff.
Well,
wow.
But let's try to keep it somewhat focused. But
yes, I think, you know, I think the families should have the responsibility. The parents have the responsibilities to teach their children these things. I think the school has the responsibility to ensure that these things are upheld on their watch.
Okay. Because I just think you get into like a whole lot of scary scenarios potentially on what is controlled by whom, essentially, right? So I think it's kind of, it takes a community, right? And so I think definitely it starts in the household. And granted, I am somebody who has never given birth to any children. I've been around a lot of kids, so I can talk from that perspective, but take my opinion for what it is, for what it's worth. But I would think that, you know, it's the parents' responsibility. That's the core, right? Like, you teach your kids how to be good humans. You teach your kids how to live and grow up and be productive adults. And you teach them, part of that is, hey, birds and the bees. I mean, that is a big part of the conversation.
Correct.
But I think, too, in school, you're right. I mean, I had health class in high school. It wasn't taught by a nurse, but we did have instructors that taught health class and basic biology information and stuff.
Yep.
Now, granted, I went to Catholic school, so there's also,
also
its own set of there was that. But you know, like, at the time I went through that, it was not. There was an understanding that just preaching abstinence all the time is not likely going to get you where you want it to get you, because... You
know, I went to a Christian school, and I'll share this only because it just needs to be documented in history. Really.
This will be good.
So I went to a Christian school, Liberty Christian School in Howell Township, New Jersey. It was a great school. Reverend Siebel was a great guy, but he was so opposed to dating. Okay, he had these 3 knockout daughters, and they were named KK, DD, and JJ. Real unique. But they were really cute girls. And he was so against dating that nobody, the PDOA, no public display of affection, 6-inch rule, everybody, you couldn't touch the opposite sex, ever. So he started talking about dating. And, of course, we had our classes in the chapel room. So his thing was, and it is gross, and I got expelled for it, by the way. So that's why
Please
it needs to be documented.
Now I'm intrigued.
So we were all talking about, we were questioning, had this question and answer period. It was a Monday, so we kind of had chapel. And he said, dating is no good. Kissing is ugly. It's sinful. Da, 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 da. So kissing was like just spit it in a cup and give it to your partner. So, me being the literal person that I am, his wife come around the corner, and I ran and gave her a cup. And I said, could you give your husband a kiss and demonstrate how this works? I got expelled. And she had no clue what I was talking about. And then when I had explained to her after I got yelled at that, well, this is what your husband said kissing is, she got really mad at him. That is not what it is. I was like, well, that's what he told us.
Okay, I thought that story was going somewhere else. Like, I thought someone was going to be drinking that nastiness, but okay.
Well, no, but it was just like, I got in so much trouble because I wanted her to demonstrate, and she had no clue.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
God.
Oh, but that's funny.
It was quite the experience. But you do. You learn different things. Religion plays a big role in it, but...
Well, and what you were saying earlier, too, I think is interesting to comment on. You were talking about, like, the 19-year-old young mother, and I think, life teaches us all through experience. Right. Different rates, different ways, for sure. And so, in some cases, that mom's going to be right on, able to talk very intelligently about those types of things, sex ed and STDs and birds and the bees, whatever, to her kids. But then just... look at humanity on a regular basis. Go hang out at, local shopping centers. I'll try not to call out your favorite store by name. But, we're not there's just a whole spectrum of people's abilities and capabilities. And, it's just the way the world works. But
it is.
But I do think, I agree with you. I think, some of that should definitely be taught in the schools. Because you cast the net
that's where most
and
of the
you
bullying
hit.
happens. So they need to understand really how to deal with it in the proper way.
Well, yeah, and that's bullying could be its own. We could be here for days talking about all these things for sure. Yeah. But
a lot of fights occur because of that's my girlfriend. No, that's my boyfriend. No, that's mine, and you're talking to them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So and those are experiences that do have to be learned.
They teach, that's how you learn.
Exactly. That's you've got to experience
the early end of relationships, right?
It is.
That's you go through enough of those, and then eventually, when it's time to settle down with somebody and pick your partner for life, then you've got the skill to navigate.
Exactly, and you know how to really protect them without being a bully. Now you have words and you have other avenues.
Sure.
And the girl or guy is not playing the field because they're 12 years old. They're like 18, 19. They're becoming adults. So, yeah. And this all started out with Valentine's Day. We just ran the gambit.
Yeah, well, we were going to talk about cool. Veterans and challenges of relationships with veterans. Is that what you were thinking?
That's where it was going. But it took a life of its own, which is kind of cool because it's still important stuff. Kids do need to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are most affected with this thing on Valentine's Day. All their little, fake sweethearts that they didn't get gifts for. And I can say this because I still have young children.
Okay.
So my one son is all, he wanted to get this gift for this girl. And we're like, no. And you're not dating her. And no, but she's a friend. No. And it just causes this problem, and you really got to, as parents, we got to talk to our kids about this. You don't give those type of gifts to a friend.
Right.
So that's where the learning aspect of Valentine's Day comes in for me, It's not a love interest. It's not even puppy love at this point. It's a fixation. So, and a lot of girls and guys in school do that. I took my kids to dances, and one girl with 4 or 5 guys, one guy with 4 or 5 girls, and then somebody else comes in and there's a big hiccup. Well, you're not supposed to be here. These are all my friends.
Really?
It's kind of screwy the way it all works out. It wasn't like that when I was in school. Today, it's like, wow, this is like a weird situation. But yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, the holiday is, it's a good holiday for those, like you said, that require gifts. So if your loved one requires gifts, by all means, do go buy her one or him. So, if they don't, just use it as a kind of a memory that, or a checkpoint that hey, because you do get so used to your significant other that sometimes you do fail to, you assume they know that you love them. You assume they know that you're doing.
It helps to stoke the romantic
it does.
aspect of the relationship once in a while, if not all the time. Like it's a good thing to.
It's a good checks and balances, is what it
checks
is.
And balances.
Yes. It's really what it is. It's a checks and balances. Did I screw up last week? If I did, okay, this week is Valentine's Day. Let me do something nice.
Oh, I see how it works. Okay.
But no, really, we get along good all year long. My wife and I, we have an okay relationship. It's really good. It's solid. So, one day doesn't, it just enhances it really if, we do something nice.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Exactly. That's the way it should be. It shouldn't be this all, get crazy googly over it, just kind of do something nice and call it a day.
Well, I'm kind of excited because here at the Warrior Healing Center, we have a food pantry, and a couple of weeks back, somebody donated all of these pie crusts, graham cracker pie crust to us. Yep. So for Valentine's Day, we have some amazing volunteers that have asked for and received a lot of Jell-O no-bake cheesecake mix.
Yes.
And we are having them, or they are actually, of their own volition, making cheesecakes for our veterans. So
yep.
We do heart our veterans, especially on Valentine's Day here at the Warrior Healing Center. And we have several cheesecakes that'll be available tomorrow.
I heard, yes.
At Bagels and Brew. We do Bagels and Brew Thursday mornings from 9 to 11. And if you're a veteran and you're interested in a little something sweet for Valentine's Day, we've got some cheesecake for you. So come on out.
And if you're the significant other of a veteran or a loved one or a friend, come on out too.
Heck yeah.
Socialize, listen to some of the stories that are going around. I mean, they're really cool. This is veterans' real life stories. You're not going to get it anywhere else. And it's really good socialization. Really.
Yeah, it's interesting for me. I don't come from a military background. My dad did serve in Vietnam. He considered going into the military as a career and opted not to. My parents got married in '68, and he retired. Well, he didn't retire. He left the Army after getting back from Vietnam and opting to go a different direction. But he never talked about his experience in Vietnam with me growing up. It really wasn't until I introduced him to Tim that I started hearing some stories coming up, and that's been really interesting to me. But it wasn't until, coming down here to Sierra Vista and working at the Warrior Healing Center, kicking this off and creating this place, that I've really gotten to know some veterans and understand. I was definitely living in my civilian bubble where my background's in nursing. I did a clinical rotation at the Phoenix VA when I was in nursing school. I talked to some veterans who were in the midst of programs at the VA there while I was doing that. And my takeaway from that was, there's veterans that have problems, understandably. They've seen some ugly things in their lives, and there's a lot of challenges, but there's programs for them. The VA takes care of them. The government takes care of them. They're doing what they need to do. These veterans are connected where they need to be. And then I kind of forgot about it until I came down here to Sierra Vista and started working with Tim for the Warrior Healing Center here, and realizing that I was way off the mark. Veterans...
I want to add something so bad. So the VA talks about it, and the government talks about it, helping the veterans. Big talking points. I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're good. You'll clarify. Well, I think I'll kind of push back a little bit, because I think the VA does a pretty good job. They help a lot of people, but I also think that the VA is what it is. I mean, it's a bureaucracy, and it's the government's response to, oh my gosh, we got to care for all these former military folks. We sent them off to war, or we had them serve to help defend our country, whether in war or not in war.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people that come back from their service with a lot of challenges and problems, and we've got to figure out a way to care for them at that point.
Right.
And I think the people that work for the VA do so because they want to help. I think that the VA's goals are
well, you are just
lofty,
a kind person.
But I think that it doesn't work for everybody.
God.
I think what I have seen in the last going on 3 years now down here is the VA is a bureaucracy, and they do what they can to kind of cover what they can cover.
Sure.
But they can't treat you all like individuals.
They can't. And, they didn't treat you like an individual in the service either.
Sure.
You're a number, and we all know that. We are all a number in, and we are all a number out.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it, really.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, I was just being a little sarcastic.
A little
but,
facetious. It's all good, though.
Yeah, a little sarcasm with some truth behind it.
Yeah.
Because you're right. There is a lot of politics. There is a lot of, think tank or
Red
talking
tape.
heads.
And a lot of red tape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but the Warrior Healing Center is a hands-on, get it done. It's a war. And we're attacking the war. We are working with veterans every single day. What I really find is really cool is, and you can attest to this too, a veteran comes in off the street and just, hey, I heard about this place. I'm just walking in here. And they sit down and they're at Bagels and Brew and they're kind of just like, and then somebody says something to them and then starts talking about their time in service. All of a sudden you see the life pop back in their eyes and they sit up and they've got a smile on their face and now they're talking because they're talking with somebody who can understand they can relate to what's going on.
Yeah.
And then
they know that they're with people that
Right.
get it.
Exactly. And then they start opening it up. And then because everybody in the Warrior Healing Center is a team environment, so as they open up, they go over, some of their issues and concerns and what's going on in their lives. And then whoever's listening directs them to the right person in the Warrior Healing Center so that they navigate him right to where he needs to be, or she, and then they address the need.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost instantaneous. I'm not saying it's like snap the finger and it's done, but it really is close to that. And that's what the Warrior Healing Center does that the VA can't do. So some of the things that get done here might take weeks and denials over at the VA.
Sure.
Some things
Sure.
are just outright denied, and the gambit of things that are addressed, they can't even talk about how many of them there are. I mean, there's 50 organizations plus inside the Warrior Healing Center. So yeah, I mean,
we try to do things differently. We look for
Exactly.
win-win solutions with everybody whose goal really is to help support veterans.
Right.
And then, we're working with and networking with organizations or services outside of the Warrior Healing Center,
Mm-hmm.
always, again, looking for the win-win. How do we get creative? How do we get
right.
to do what's best for the veteran? And so I think that's really needed. I think it's
I think
making
it
an
is.
impact. I think this is something that can really be done
This,
all over the place. We want to prove it here and make this a model.
after it's proved here, it's going to kind of be like this Warrior Healing Center in a box sent to all the cities across the nation.
You make it sound easy, but
and it can
But
be. It's a work in progress. People want to have to be a part of this for it to work.
it's about community, which I
Exactly.
think is what you're saying. It's
Right. The community has to be
the
involved.
different piece here is that, and this is what I learned. Like I said, I wasn't military. I was civilian world in my bubble.
Right.
As a nurse, thinking I still, knew stuff. Well, the challenges and the ridiculousness, the hoops, the hurdles that veterans are faced with, a lot of times when they're at their biggest struggle points, is overwhelming. And the way to help them, or the way to fix, I don't even want to say help them. Veterans don't like to ask for help. Veterans,
Right.
when they're in the military, were trained. You don't ask for help. You figure it
You do
out.
it-
You
you do
find a
it what you got.
solution. You
Yep.
do with what you got. You look out for everybody else before you look out for yourself. You don't ask
Right.
for help. And so down here in Sierra Vista, in Cochise County, we don't have a ton of resources for folks. And there's a lot of people that come down here and isolate. There's a lot of space to isolate. And so
Absolutely.
what we're finding here, especially at what we're attracting at the Warrior Healing Center, is veterans that really do need some help and probably needed help, years ago, but have been
Exactly.
trudging through life without help and support. And
Stumbling.
so they just feel this neglect and this isolation and this despair and this lack of hope.
And it just makes them harder. When somebody does, they're very skeptical when they walk in the door because they've been turned away so
Yeah,
long.
what we're offering here isn't
it
offered
doesn't happen anywhere
elsewhere.
else.
Yeah,
Right.
so
when they come in, they're coming in like, I've heard this all before.
Sure.
But then when they see the actions, the best thing I like about it is it's the veterans that are being helped that are bringing in the other veterans.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that, which is really you're true. That's like proof in the pudding.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. It's
deal,
like so awesome to see it.
Yeah, but we look for the win-wins and the solutions and common sense approach, and that's what we're trying to do here. And I think that it's working.
It's definitely working. I see it working. For me, it worked. And now I'm a part of it. And other veterans, it worked, and now they're a part of it. It's just the Warrior Healing Center is just a growing, living body that is expanding as more veterans come in and are being served. They're again giving it back out to other veterans to help serve them,
which is really the inclination that I'm seeing of most of the veterans. Anyways, they want to help. They just
do.
Need the framework set up to be able to do that, and
they
that's what we're
that they
offering
care.
here. This
Exactly.
is a place where you can come and find your family, find your unit, find people that get it. And it's not just veterans, it's veteran family members too, right? Because when they were in the military as family members, they had a support network that they don't have anymore when you leave the military.
Right.
And so that's what we're trying to create here. We're trying to create a framework and a structure where veterans can get help and be the ones that are helping the next guy coming in or the next girl coming in.
Yep.
And it's working really, really well.
Effect.
Yeah.
And
to the point where we're going to have all kinds of cheesecakes to give our veterans tomorrow for Valentine's Day.
Lots and lots of cheesecakes for Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So come on down. I think that's a good place to close.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of events that are going on here all week long throughout the day and evening. So
let's just really quick. This weekend actually is turning out to be a weekend of support for the Warrior Healing Center from some of our friends in the community. It's kind of like third-party events. They just wanted to benefit WHC, which is great, and we appreciate that. So just as a heads up, so we have Bagels and Brew here tomorrow. We've got a flute circle tomorrow. We've got a drum circle on Friday afternoon. On Saturday, there's a lot going on at Broxton's, the local coffee shop on Fry. They are doing their cars and coffee event. So if you like fun cars and you like coffee or you like veterans, come on out. We'll be there. They are benefiting WHC with some of their sales from that event, and there should be like a raffle and things like that happening. Then following that, there is Native who piggybacks off that, and they also support the beneficiary for Cars and Coffee. So from noon until 4 at Native, if you tell them you'd like to support the Warrior Healing Center or you're there in honor of the Warrior Healing Center, they will donate part of those lunch proceeds back to WHC, which is going to help the veterans here locally.
Very good.
Also on Saturday, we are doing an alternative therapies event here at the center from 10 to 1.
Correct. Yep.
There's all kinds of like tapping therapy for PTSD, reflexology, hypnotherapy.
Reiki, acupuncture.
It's things, so they do this in Bisbee on the first Saturday of each month, and it's been a thing in Bisbee for a while. So we're starting to complement that here in Sierra Vista. The same folks will be out here, and if you want to come test out some of those treatments or therapies, you can do that at no cost. And that's, again, Saturday from 10 to 1.
Yeah. And if you have a stubborn veteran, significant other, that doesn't want to come out tomorrow, or you can come out to the Bagels and Brew tomorrow, and you can get all the information and see what it's all about. And then you can go home for Valentine's Day and tell your significant other veteran that you love them. And that next Thursday, they need to go to the...
or that evening, let's not forget. There's one other thing I need to mention, so I don't get in trouble here from our friends over at Events 161 and Jay's Premier Events. They are putting on an event at Events 161 on Friday night, so Valentine's Day. If you don't have plans yet, and you don't have reservations at your favorite restaurant yet, but you want some good food, and you want some dancing and some music and some fun, I think they're even encouraging dressing up. Let me give you the theme first. Not as Cupid. It's a night in Atlantis, and the theme is seafood, and dressing up as a mermaid, I think, perhaps. I don't know if you want to do that, or a merman, perhaps. King Triton, maybe.
Well, if you want to keep with the Cupid theme, go as a swordfish.
As a swordfish? But that's Friday evening at Events 161, and they
Cool.
are they're a new venue that is doing events on pretty much a bi-weekly basis right now, I think.
I've heard a
And
lot about them,
it's
yeah.
very, very much worth checking out if you want to do that. There's tickets available online at Eventbrite and through Events 161 and Jay's Kitchen or JV's Boba if you guys are here locally. And we've got a few here that we can sell you at the Warrior Healing Center. So
Absolutely. And as always, if you want to help with the 22 for 22 veteran suicide prevention, you can go to our website or come into the front office.
yeah, so it's when Mike mentioned it's a war earlier, that's what he was talking about is
Correct.
the war against veteran suicide, the psychological war that we are fighting here at the Warrior Healing Center by providing the services that we're providing. And so our campaign for that is 22 to end 22.com. If you are interested in supporting that, we would love the help. Buy a veteran a cup of coffee a week. That's what it comes out to about. And if you can do that, that money is going a long way to help run the programs here at the Warrior Healing Center.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
And at that, we're
We'll
going to
cut
call
it.
it.
All
Yes.
right. Thanks for listening to
All
us
right.
babble.
Yeah, that was great.
We clear? Not clear yet?
No.